Hold the line. Down, 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 down. Love isn't always on time. What is going on, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome to this very special Tuesday live stream episode of SHARKNEWZ Live. As today we got a lot of cool things to talk about because today was the GI Joe Classified FanStream event. The first FanStream event in which they postponed an entire month for. So I have about a little cool mixed reactions, some good reactions, and honestly at the end of the day I thought it was decent. It wasn't like the worst stream. It was more so just trying to figure out what was it that they pushed it back an entire month for, and my only explanation would have to be maybe they just wanted to get the Cold Slither box set in front of them to display and talk about, which to me personally didn't really make much sense, just because if they wanted to talk about Cold Slither right in the beginning, you might as well have the actual figures, because now it's just like, okay, we waited an entire month to look at the Cold Slither box, and then on top of that going to digital renders of Cold Slither. So I don't know, I thought it was kind of weird when they should have just really kind of waited until Yojo June to give us the entire Cold Slither box and the figures inside, and kind of give us like a whole entire rundown of, you know, Comic-Con's exclusive. But I guess it was a slight tease, which would make sense because it kind of makes up for the other things that they didn't really talk about today, or should I say lack of. So it was fine. I'm gonna quickly go over the chat real quick and see who's in here, and I do want to apologize that I do have a very terrible sore throat, so I'm gonna do my best to talk as much as I can, but I do have my coffee with me in my green mug, so should be exciting. 49er Brian, welcome. Thank you so much for joining and being the first person to comment on the stream. Antonio Montano, welcome to the chat as well. I'm going to read all your comments, but for now I just want to see who's in the chat. Sabotage X88, welcome. Awesome YouTuber. Go subscribe to Sabotage if you haven't seen any of his videos. Really awesome dude. Really like your videos, by the way. Sunder Ganesan, welcome to the chat. We also have Joshua, welcome. And then we have, who else do we have here? Mr. Madgus, thank you so much for joining. Paul, Ionic Blood, welcome both of you. Derek Holloman, and thank you BD Bonzi for the shark emojis. Welcome. And then we have Robert, what's up? Oh, shout out to Robert for also giving me a shout out in tonight's or today's live stream. That was pretty fun. It was also fun watching people hate on me, but it was cool. That just shows I still got it. Title Manishir, welcome. It's good to see you, brother. Walker Collector, awesome. Every time I see that name I think of Walker Texas Ranger. Darth Shark, yep, I'm feeling a bit of a Darth Sidious today, so Darth Shark for sure. Miles McDaniel, welcome. I think this is Miles's first time in the chat. Welcome. Oh, Metanga Studios, welcome. We have V Anderson, welcome with a thumbs up. Sean R, Roland Mack. So many amazing people here in tonight's stream. Very iconic names. Sean R, Benedict, how's it going? Zed Burns, Solo Sinner. Holy crap, we got so many of my classic OG subscribers in the chat tonight. This is freaking amazing. Shout out to all of you in the chat and the stream that are watching right now. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. So now I'm going to scroll back up and read some of the chats and see what I'm missing so far. Okay, so we're gonna start off with 49er saying, we got Snake Eyes, but where's the Cobra Claw? Yeah, I was very surprised that we did not get any Cobra Claw pre-order when Cobra Claw was actually the first ever, or the first figure since last year that hasn't been up for pre-order just yet. So everyone else has been name dropped or revealed way later in the year of 2024, even early 2025, and still the Cobra Claw hasn't even come out yet, and Snake Eyes did. So I found that very, very interesting for that matter. Just like how somebody says it here, very good possibility that the Cobra Claw will be a Yojo June review pre-order, or it could be a Comic-Con, no, not Comic-Con, sorry, like a Yojo June pre-order. So that would be cool. Antonio says, did I pre-order anything? Unfortunately, I did not pre-order. I'm kind of in this fatigue of classified where I just kind of want to not rush to get figures. I do want to get some, like I do have some in mind. I just don't want to kind of rush to get them. I think because classified has been hitting this little standstill for figures that for me personally, in my collection, they've already made most of the figures that I already wanted, like Hawk, Shipwreck, Kamakura, Lowlight, Spirit, of course, some of the other standard ninjas and stuff. But what I'm really going to be waiting for is the Slice and Dice 2-pack, which we'll talk about a little bit later, and I'll pre-order starting from those two guys. But I feel like for this certain wave of figures didn't really get me wanting to spend at this point. I kind of want to just save up and see what else, you know, Hasbro's going to come up with. And I've also been collecting other things in the back end, so yeah, so I feel like classified can kind of wait a bit. Because I did check the Hasbro Pulse website, and apparently some of the figures, or a lot of them, are still up for pre-order. They haven't really sold out just yet, except for the Scuba Divers 2-pack. So that just kind of shows you that we're still in a, you know, like, you know, Frag Viper, Darklon, those are characters that are not technically like super duper essentials to people's collections, but they're just good for like army building and stuff. Antonio says, Pulse had me pissed they sold out the Mass Device Divers, but I was able to get them at Target. Yes, we will talk about that in just a bit. We're getting, we'll start off the stream with that one. Okay, Sabotage says that was the only one that didn't go for it. Congrats though, that went fast. Yeah, so I believe that the divers really went quickly. Just, it's not so much of the divers itself or the characters, it's more so of the fact that the two divers came with the mass device, or the mass element. So because they came with the mass device elements, it's one of those things where if Hasbro ever decides to create the actual mass device, then collectors will be screwed, because what if Hasbro says the only way to complete your mass actual device is you had to pre-order the other figures that came with it? Like, I think Hasbro would do a really stupid job if they were to say, all right, we're selling you the mass device with the elements already, which again will make it easier for people who didn't have the chance to get Breaker or Snake Eyes. But let's say you already struggled to get these 3 sets of figures for the mass device, and then Hasbro already gives you the mass elements again, and it's kind of like, what did I struggle for? You know, it kind of doesn't make too much sense. But if they pull off a sneaky Hasbro move where it's like, oh, here is the mass device, but we're not giving you the elements because you had to pre-order Snake Eyes, Breaker, and the 2 Scuba Divers, then that would really, really suck. Because yeah. Says 49er says, Shark, my homie. Sunder Ganesan, well, you're my homie as well, 49er, thank you. Sunder Ganesan says, year isn't even quarter yet, though we already got a band committed to pre-orders. Yeah, I mean, think about it this way. He makes who's it? Sunder makes a very good, valid point. The fact that within 6 days, Hasbro, or at least the G.I. Joe team, within 6 days gave collectors 10 figures to pre-order, or maybe 11. That's crazy. They stalled from January up until March just to give you freaking 11 figures, I believe, to pre-order, all within 6 days. That is insane. Imagine the amount of money people had to cough up right, you know, initially up front, just because I know they're pre-orders, but still, it's like that's a lot of money. Shark emojis. I see shark emojis everywhere. That's freaking awesome. Sabotage says I got the snake eyes and polar bear. Oh man, that's. I mean, it's still a pretty cool set. It's just I don't know if I would justify that price point for it. Joshua says Law's helmet is mirrored. Yeah. So for my thumbnails, I like to do more of a Marvel Cinematic Universe style thumbnails where they kind of have like a poster of like all the main heroes on it. So I get inspired to do it like that way. So in order for Law to kind of fit in the thumbnail, I had to reverse them just so it looks kind of fits the aesthetic of the other characters that are facing in different directions. Mr. Madga says, where's the party at? The party is here, bro. We just started. Hello. We got everyone's excited to join the stream. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Joshua says, I'm going to put on my hoodie in horror because the den is a little cool. Yeah, man, there's nothing wrong enjoying a live stream and putting on a hood. I love hoodies. Hoodies are like my go-to thing. I would rock a hoodie like all day, every day. Sorry, the chat just jumped a bit. More shark emojis. Yes, Mr. Madga says, make sure you hit that like button or smash that like button. Shark will treat everyone here to a crystal ball figure. Yeah, eventually at some point. Russell Terrell, welcome to the chat. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it, brother. Says ordered Footloose. Yeah, so the Hasbro, so okay, for those that are in the chat right now, can you, for those that experienced it, can you explain to those that were not aware what happened to the Hasbro Pulse app today? And then I'll read it in the chat. Because apparently the Hasbro Pulse website went through some crazy shenanigans, and that kind of messed it up for a lot of people. I did see images of people saying that they weren't able to get their figures, or like it didn't go to their actual checkout, or it wasn't added to their cart, and someone's getting robbed across the street. So apologies if you hear the alarm. Let's see, I think we have somebody new here in the chat. Oh, welcome Wilfredo Diaz. No worries, brother, we just started. John Brooks, welcome from Ireland. Awesome to see you, brother. Always welcoming. Ooh, shout out to Saladin Domino, sorry. Welcome to the chat. It says sup Chokas, welcome. It's good to see you. Vil says app and site wouldn't allow you to complete your transactions, but V Anderson says the site the site worked for him though. Zed Burns says I looked when everything went on sale but didn't purchase anything, so I didn't experience any funny business. Benedict says the chat was pissed during the live stream. Dude, as soon as the chat in the Hasbro Pulse fan stream started becoming like toxic, I was like, I'm not gonna bother engaging in there. I just decided to just watch the stream and turned off the chat. I was like, people need to really you know, cut Emily some slack. Just, you know, it is what it is, man. We're all better than this. Let's see here. Antonio says the app stalled because the divers sold out and most people lost out on getting them. That sucks. I never used the app. Says Derek, the only thing I had to issue was to type in my phone number with every pre-order. Oh, that's terrible, bro. Welcome, hey yo, to the chat. I believe you are new to the stream, so thank you so much for joining. Hope everything's doing well. I'm actually suffering from a very terrible sore throat. Every time I have to swallow, it burns, so I'm trying my best to cope, but you guys are making it better for me, so thank you so much for making me forget I'm even sick right now. Don Carlos says, thank you for the news as always. No, thank you, Don Carlos, for supporting the channel. I really do appreciate that. Vulture, welcome to the chat. Good to see you, brother. MMA Panda says, I'm not a completist, but I pick and choose my favorites. If the ones I don't buy go on clearance, sometimes I'll buy them. As for true billers, I only get so many variations. Alright, so honey tea lemon. Yeah, I actually have, what am I drinking? I'm drinking something right now. I don't even remember what I threw in here, but it's hot and it's supposed to help for the throat. But thank you, Vil. Alright, so let's start off the main topic for tonight, going over the name reveals, the leaks, and then the prototypes, because there's some very interesting things that happened in today's live stream event, where I find it very interesting that we've been getting leaks, or should I say prototypes, of figures being leaked out from certain collectors overseas, whether it's Weibo.com or Reddit, and I feel like Hasbro has no choice but to actually just name drop them, just because it's like, it's already out there, you know. You already have other YouTubers already you know, shedding the light on all the leaks and stuff, and Hasbro's probably like, oh crap, like we don't, like it was supposed to be a secret, but it is what it is. So so starting off tonight's funness, so as for the name only reveals that they decided to toss in, which we have the Armored Cobra Commander. So Armored Cobra Commander was also another leak, as well as we've seen his torso and head sculpt, which I still forgot to type in on here. My bad, I'll do it next time. So we've gotten already a leak of Armored Cobra Commander's leg and head sculpt and torso. Was it torso? No, sorry, his leg and helmet. Sorry, I don't know why I put torso on the screen. Sorry, my bad. I'll fix that later. So I thought that was, I think they were just kind of gunning it, kind of to, you know, said like, well, the cat's already out of the bag, we might as well, you know, just reveal it now, because I'm pretty sure this was not supposed to happen. Then we got a name reveal of Monkey Wrench. Now, Monkey Wrench was also another figure where his, I believe, leg and torso, no, sorry, his leg was also leaked out, his ripped jeans and whatever, and according to many like sources and people who said that the upcoming wave for the latest classified line is supposed to be, you know, Monkey Wrench is in there, so kind of makes sense for him to be tossed in that thing. So then they also announced Major Bludd, which I thought was very interesting, because so Benedict asks the question, is Major Bludd retro or mainline? Now, if you saw last week's stream, Major Bludd is considered to be a mainline release, because I've actually confused myself with the difference between the cartoon and then the retro figures. So if you go back to the last week's live stream, I talked about Breaker and how I was ranting about how Breaker was like as retro as it gets, and then Hasbro messed it up or fumbled or whatever, but then you guys were correcting me in the chat saying Breaker was actually cartoon mainline release, and then there still should be a retro version at some point wearing the green outfit. So that kind of sparked rewired my mindset, because now with Major Bludd, we could easily be getting a another, like how Breaker was in a mainline release, because if they do a retro Major Bludd, then he would have to have well, I'm not really, because if you look at the original O-ring, the Major Bludd was black and brown, similar to how the original first classified figure was. But if you look at the cartoon, he had a blue, I think like blue, grays, and browns, and his color scheme was different. So if it's a mainline release, it's most likely going to be inspired by the cartoon. If it's retro, then it's going to be inspired by the original O-ring color scheme. So that kind of rewired my circuits in my brain to realize, okay, that's where Hasbro is going, even though it's freaking sloppy as hell. It made complete sense to me, so shout out to everybody who corrected me in the chat last week. So Major Bludd will be a mainline release, and we saw his head sculpt and leg also leak out as well. And I didn't see much of a difference within that. And for those who actually own a Major Bludd knows that the classified Major Bludd is probably hands down the best classified figure they've made so far. Detail wise, everything about it is just absolutely incredible. So I can't wait to see how this Major Bludd's going to turn out. And then before I get to the chat, the last one they revealed, which I thought was not necessarily a surprise, but we've seen a leak of Mercer's torso, I think last week or a few days ago, and then they announced that Mercer is coming into the classified line, but the plot twist here is that he's coming in a 2-pack with Sergeant Slaughter. Now, realistically, we've already have a Sergeant Slaughter with the black torso, and then we have the Mad Marauder Sergeant Slaughter. Now, I know there's other versions of Sergeant Slaughter out there. However, if Hasbro really wanted to make, and I know this is probably like this probably is a money thing, and probably you guys won't agree with me on this, but in terms of aesthetic or keeping it in unison kind of thing, if Hasbro really wanted to get the most money out of this situation, Mercer should have really came in a 3-pack with Red Dog and Taurus, because they were showcased in the animated movie as a 3-pack, like you know, all three of them were together in the movie, so it only makes sense for having all three of them in a 3-pack, kind of call it like the Renegades, right? And if you look at the original O-Ring line, those 3 figures were also together as well. So personally, I thought in my head it would have made more ideal sense to have Mercer in a 3-pack, but I guess this is just another way to milk the buck out of Sergeant Slaughter to get a Mercer. So those who already have 2 Sergeant Slaughters are now going to have to get a 3rd one, if you don't consider the Sergeant Slaughter variant where he has the packaging, one with the hat and one without the hat. So I think that's the most rarest Sergeant Slaughter figure right now, is the Mad Marauder Sergeant Slaughter with the hat and the one without the hat. All right, so now let's go ahead and check the chat and see what I missed so far. Mr. Madga says, I don't do pre-orders, I'm old school, I enjoy the hunt. I agree, brother, I'm with you on that one. Emily shut down Tony with the sneak peek. That was pretty funny at the end of the live stream. Rocky Teller says, I don't bother looking at their live chat because there's so much wrong in the chat. Yeah, 100%. I agree with you on that one. Like, imagine, like, when I was in the chat today, it was just so funny because I literally just put shark emojis and immediately it was just like, shark sucks. And it's like, shark is stupid or something. And I was just like, oh man, like, this is not fun hate to get at 11 a.m. But I was laughing behind the computer. So Russell says, glad to see the Joe MMS. Me too. That was pretty cool. I like that Colonel Hawk and be a good with the vamp. Yes, we will look at all those shortly. Joe side shelves needs more stuff on it. I agree. Definitely Toxic 49er. Sabotage says maybe the sneak peek was the Easter egg. I mean, the sneak peek, I mean, you mean like a sneak peek because they did the Zartan Cold Slither, that the sneak peek would be like Dreadnought related in terms of a Thunder Machine? I mean, it could be. I mean, I don't know. So somebody said that the Major Bludd is a retro. So Rocky Teller says retro is Major Bludd, but everyone is saying Major Bludd is mainline. I guess we'll see. It could change. Who knows? I don't even know at this point. Zed Burns says the app has been bad for so long, they're not worried about it not working. Yeah, that's because I think their main source is like trying to make sure that Big Bad Toy Store or Entertainment Earth or Amazon also gets the pre-orders. I think with Hasbro Pulse, they probably have like 10 figures on sale, or it's 10 figures in their inventory, and they're just like, go get it somewhere else. I think they just want to show Chris Cox, the CEO of Hasbro, like, hey, look, we sold out on our website, when originally they probably have like 30 figures in their back end of the website. So who knows what's happening. Chris Yule says, I bet Major... Oh, welcome Chris Yule to the chat. Says, I bet Major Bludd will look like the Mass Device. Yes, if you watch the Mass Device cartoon, Major Bludd did have a pivotal role in that 5-part series arc, so it would make sense for Major Bludd to be part of it, but I guess not for now, but we'll see. Zedburn says, I think Sarge leaked it about a year ago. Did he? I know Sarge has slipped up on a few times. I think Sarge slipped up on the Leatherneck and Sergeant Slaughter and Cup Transformers collaboration. I think he leaked that one out by accident, but I don't know about the Mercer one. Okay, so Russell Terrell has asked a question in the chat. Does anyone know if the rumors are true about no HasLab for 2025, or are they waiting for Yojo June for the reveal? I'll let you guys answer that one. Oh crap, the chat just jumped. Solo Center says, want the Mercer but don't want a Slaughter. I 100% agree with you. It's a valid reason to not want to triple dip on a Sarge. Solo says the Major Bludd figure from Cobra Island is absolute banger, including the packaging box art. I 100% agree. That is one of the best figures for sure. Zed says he likes all the Sarge figures. Welcome Christian Harnick, Cormuse Bagpipe. First of all, shout out to Christian if you're still in the chat right now. Christian was an awesome subscriber who gifted me the G.I. Joe coasters and the G.I. Joe mugs. So if you haven't seen it on the Retro Shark channel, go ahead and check it out. I have a video on that. Please support Christian's Etsy. He makes a lot of cool G.I. Joe related products like coasters and yeah, like I think it's called a tumbler. But yeah, they're really awesome, really cool. It's hefty material, very sturdy quality. And yeah, Christian, thank you so much for sending that over as a gift, man. I really do appreciate it. I hope people head over to your Etsy and support you there, because it's really awesome to see a G.I. Joe coaster for sure. And it kind of has like a glossy finish too, which I thought was really awesome. Derek says we need Big Lob to finish the rawhides. Big Lob needs to be skinny and tall. He definitely should not have like a beefy design to him. Antonio says Renegades are coming to the line. I'm here for it. Zedburn says Sergeant is Iraqi sympathizer heel gimmick. LOL. Sean R says, yeah, should have been a 3-pack, but I think Hasbro's gonna double dip adding Slaughter. Imagine if Hasbro just adds a Sergeant Slaughter to every single Renegade. Sergeant Slaughter and Red Dog 2-pack. Sergeant Slaughter and Taurus 2-pack. You might as well just build a whole damn army of Sergeant Slaughters at this point. Let's see here. Solo Sinner says, when Emily said Renegades, I first thought she was referring to the cartoon. Yeah, exactly. Me too. So I was like, oh, cool, a Renegades cartoon. But then I was like, oh shit, I've totally forgot about the three chumps in the animated movie. And honestly, if you see the 1987 animated movie, you'll see that the Renegades are even Slaughter. Sorry, the scene with Mercer, Taurus, and Red Dog infiltrating the Cobra Terradrome was probably one of the freaking coolest scenes of that animated movie of all time. I love, because there's a scene where Taurus comes, or is it, yeah, I believe it's Taurus. They're all in the vents, and then Taurus comes down, and he wraps his leg around the Viper while they're all playing cards at the table, and then he just lifts him up with his feet. That shit was actually pretty funny. Zedburn says, the chat on the Hasbro stream is always bad. I agree. Rachel Salinas, welcome to the chat, says Hasbro can still do Slaughter with a classified triple T. Oh yeah, good one, yeah. Script Boy says Shark rules. Thank you so much, Script Boy. Welcome to the chat. I believe this is your first time here, so that's awesome. Thank you. Skyfall with the shark emoji, welcome to the chat as well. MMA Panda says, I need a retro card back Major Bludd. It'll go great with the Cobra Island one. So yeah, I mean, going back to Major Bludd, this basically means we could have two versions coming out. We have the cartoon version with the blue, grays, and browns, and then we have the O-ring version where it's the black and grays and browns, because the O-ring version was not how it was in the cartoon. So we still have the option for two more versions of Major Bludd. Absolutely, BD Bonzi. I was doing something right. Tony wanted to give us a sneak peek, says Sabotage. Bludd isn't retro. Sorry, guys. I'm just catching up with the chat. Give me a second. Obviously, we're getting a sneak peek in the Night Forest deco, says Benedict. Ha 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 ha. Sean R says, I have no idea where I would put it, but I'll definitely get a Thunder Machine. Wilfredo Diaz says, if you haven't already done it, hit the like button. Yes, please do. Wilfredo Diaz is coming in clutch with that one. 49er says a sci-fi and a wave next year. Yeah, so I've heard rumors that sci-fi and airtight are supposed to be next year. I don't think they're in the pipeline for this year, but we'll see. Robert Wantlet says, as far as I've understand, one YouTuber said it, so who knows. Vil the Great says, I heard no HasLab. Joshua says, Chad said he had good source that 2025 is no HasLab. I mean, Chaz usually has good sources because he predicted, like, if I remember correctly, last year, even the year before that, what was it? He said something about the Triple T and Cup and Leatherneck. He even said something about some other figures, and so yeah, I mean, if Chad says no, then it's possible, but you never know. I love the break myself. I heard Antonio says, what are they going to do in place of the HasLab project? That I'm not sure. Maybe they're going to tone it down. Still waiting for Chuckles. Alright, so now that I caught up with the chat for now, so here we have even for the upcoming wave, we still have to see Sci-Fi Night Viper. Again, that's what most speculation, or it's technically supposed to be confirmed, that is the upcoming wave. So I'm really, really terrified and scared to see Sci-Fi and Night Viper, because those are my one of my two favorite characters in the Joe line. So I have very high expectations for Night Viper, so expect me to be OD intense and harsh critically observant on that Night Viper, because he was always like my top 3 favorite Cobras, so gotta see it. So we'll talk about all these in a future video, because again, these are just name onlys and leaks, but for now I thought that was pretty cool. So that is the leaks and prototypes, and yeah, pretty cool stuff. Alright, so now question for the chat. The first figures we're going to be looking at here today that went up for pre-order is the Mass Device Scuba divers. Now, should I talk about these or should I just skip over it, because I feel like there's really not much to say about it, but you guys let me know. Should I move on to the next set of figures or not? Oh, my throat. We all go. Did I read that from Adam Torres? Welcome to the chat. It says, we all go home or nobody goes home. Yes, great quote. A re-release. Hasbro probably have another day where they offer up safety stock. HasLab's been over a year, says Zed Burns. Derek Holman says, I wouldn't mind no HasLab this year. My wallet would thank them. True. I think it's because people are getting antsy about HasLabs, right? It's like, yeah, the characters are great, but it's like people are just getting older, so it's like they want to have a complete collection of classified figures or vehicles. I don't think people have like enough patience, especially if you're in like your 40s or maybe 55s at that point. Not exclusive. Would anyone support getting a legacy police officer like they did with the firefighter? I mean, I think a police officer would be pretty cool. Not sure if it would sell, but I think that would be pretty dope. Rachel says the 2025 lineup is big enough even without a HasLab. Yeah, that's true. Chuckle was re-released again, similar to Mindbender. I mean, they're all like so Sabotage makes a great point. Chuckles does need to be re-released just because the original Chuckles had the white t-shirt with the yellow floral pattern. So we've got the blue shirt version, which was the O-ring, but we still have the cartoon movie to go about. Derek Hallman says pass. Vil says skip. Sold out. Okay. So the only thing I do want to touch up on these two packs is, again, like I mentioned earlier in the stream, I honestly don't think that these figures would have sold out, and I don't think they're like a high demand or a high want. My personal belief is that the reason why these two sold out was simply because of the mass device. People are thinking long term. As I mentioned earlier in the stream, if Hasbro decides to release the actual mass device, but they said we're not including the elements because you have to get the Snake Eyes with Polar Bear, you have to get the Breaker, and you have to get these two figures in order to get the mass device, like elements, then that screws over the collectors a lot. Now, if they're very cautious about it, they could easily tell people, hey, you may not have or want those other figures, but the mass device that we're releasing with your classified collection will already include the mass elements, so then we don't really have to stress out about it. So it could really go either way. They could either include all the mass elements in a future release with the mass device, or they can literally just slap everybody in the face and be like, listen, you want the mass device, but we're not including the elements. Go back, pay scalper prices, and get those elements for you. So personally, I think these are not really necessary in anyone's collection unless you're a diehard cartoon fan. But again, it's just, if you want the mass device element, it's a no-brainer why these sold out. Scuba Steve Robert says, sorry I missed you. I don't know who you're referring to, but I missed you too, brother. Antonio says they need to start making world building playsets. HasLab them ASAP. I mean, they started the Trench Viper with his porta potties. I just don't know how many people are digging that for now. Legacy McDonald's employee, that would be funny. Subway sandwich artist. What was the name of the Subway guy? The guy with the glasses. He was kind of like the mascot for Subway. He always had like that button shirt. He looked like Peter Griffin. Saladin says, I only want these because of the mass device. Makes sense. I missed Breaker, so I'm pissed. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, that Breaker is a good figure, but it just sucks that it was a Target exclusive, so. But yeah, okay, so we'll skip these because we still got a lot more figures to talk about. So that is, we don't have to really worry about these anymore, so it is what it is. So finally we can put these two figures to rest, because now we don't have to ever talk about these again, unless they do some other mass device crap, but we'll see. So finally, I can put this 2-pack to rest because it's just weird. All right, so up next, we have Frag Viper, I hope. Yeah, okay, Frag Viper. Now, what do you guys think about Frag Viper? Personally, I think it's a cool figure. It's one of those army builders where it's like, do you need it? No. Do you want it? Sure. The alternate head sculpts, and then the robotic face, and then the helmet, it's fine, but it's like, I think right now at the time of recording this stream, he's not sold out on Hasbro Pulse, or I don't think anywhere for that matter. So I think this is where Hasbro will probably understand that a lot of collectors don't really want these deep cuts. However, they're doing it because they want to save time. Because as I mentioned in numerous live streams before, if Hasbro really were to make every one of your favorite characters right in the beginning, like the OG-13 or those that were in the cartoon, people would literally dip, and then Classified would lose money, and then they would no longer thrive at that point. So tossing in these types of characters only helps them not only profit, but only helps them fund other figures as well. Samuel Barnhart, welcome to the chat, says, why are we talking about Jared? Oh, why were we? I don't know. Somebody mentioned a Subway employee figure. Legacy series Subway employee. V Anderson says pass. Ionic Blood says, oh, I mean, shout out to Ionic Blood, freaking amazing supporter of the channel, says I'm digging it. Vil says looks cool but pass. Virgos says I wish they would stop making the helmet off of any army builders. Virgos, do you mean you don't want them to have removable helmets, or I'm not sure what you mean by that. Legacy Series physical education teacher, says Benedict. Solo Center says I went in for a couple of Monster Force, so we'll probably grab this Frag Viper. Looks cool. Yeah, I mean, Monster Force has been killing it right now. It just sucks that I think their pre-order timing is just very lengthy, so it's like, man. Frag Vipers are going to lead my Alley Vipers. Oh yeah, they do have the similar color scheme. Oh shit, I totally forgot Alley Vipers and Frag Vipers together. That would be a sick. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense to me. Christian says pass. Legacy Cook says, oh, Joshua says Legacy Cook Roadblock can't make all the meals. Very true. New York Mets Frag Viper, says Benedict. He's also got the Alien Isolation Android vibe, says Airplane City. Welcome to the chat. Thank you. I think this is your first time here too. Robert says Shark has me talked into Night Vipers when they come out. I mean, to be quite honest, if you look, I mean, first of all, Night Vipers are just freaking awesome. All right, granted that they look great. But the reason why I really fell in love with Night Vipers was really because if you read the bio of Night Vipers, I could be wrong, so correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, but their bios stated when I was a kid reading it, it said something like, if you're out there in the wild or something and you're you know, fighting Night Vipers, or you're trying to get after them, it says like they will find you before you find them, something like that. And I just thought that was so like deadly. It kind of creeped me out as a kid, and I was like, that's just freaking awesome. Like, just imagine you're in like some I don't know, some wilderness African desert or something like that, and then you're like, let's say you're Rakondo or somebody, right? You're trying to hunt for a Night Viper, and then you just realize that Night Viper is already behind you, and he has like the red laser from the scope. Like, that would be freaking sick. Oh, shout out to Hal Jordan. Welcome to the chat. I almost didn't recognize Hal Jordan's display photo because I remember, if I remember Hal Jordan, I think you had the baby default photo with the hat of who I shall not mention. But I do remember the name Hal Jordan. So it says, been trying to pre-order the Snake armor for like 7 hours. I'm still getting the sorry, try again in a few minutes message. Hasbro Pulse sucks. That really does suck. I mean, hold on, Hal Jordan, I'm gonna go back to your comment when we talk about the battle armor, so I'll hold off on that for now. Vil the Great says, just went on the app, still can't order anything. Hasbro's losing in all aspects of life. Hal Jordan with the best avatar. Yeah. Lovely, very lovely. He looks like a baseball umpire. Yeah, I always thought his weapon was like a Lacoste stick, right? Lacrosse, or Lacoste, is it called Lacoste? Whatever, you know what I mean? Those freaking, that sports with the little, that thing, I don't know, whatever the hell you call it. That's what I always reminded me of. I mean, what do you guys really recommend? Because I always thought that pre-ordering figures from an actual browser works better than a cell phone. I feel like whenever they use cell phones, it always crashes and glitches and stuff, so I always recommend using like an actual laptop or a computer. But I understand people are like at work and stuff, but I was always under the assumption that people are just not able to get pre-orders because of the website from the computer, but apparently it's mostly through cell phones as well. Rachel says, I didn't need a removable helmet for the Frag Vipers, but I like this updated classified Android idea. Yeah, I agree. I think this alternate head sculpt really sold me on it. It's just, even though the little insect helmet looks really cool, the ant-like helmet. It's just the android style just adds a lot more storytelling to it, so I love it. Robert says the Night Vipers are cool. I plan on getting multiple when they come out. Hell yeah. I tried the website, same. Okay. Antonio says you can pair them up with the mole rats if you have enough energon poisoning. Oh, Frag Vipers, Alley Vipers, and mole rats. All, well, I think mole rats are more in the purple and orange, but yeah, blue and oranges with mole rats, Frag Vipers, and Alley Vipers. Holy shit, that's actually a very cool trio right there. I mean, imagine you're doing like an Energon universe like Dio piece, and you have these three orange and blue colored army builders all trying to do like their thing. That's actually really, really cool. Hal says I've just changed it since. I mean, I have nothing against your new photo. I think you win the best cover, I mean, your best YouTube thumbnail or cover photo for that matter. Jay Lee, clear cache and cookies. Try a different browser or device. I was able to get on my laptop. I'm going to try my laptop, but I doubt it will work. I only use cell phone. It's my only computer, says Derek. Yeah, so honestly, I just think that it's possibly the reason why it's also crashing is just because of the cell phones, not necessarily the laptops or computers. But, you know, I guess it really does vary depending on where you are or like what the situation is. Frag Vipers carries JLE equipment and chuck grenades. It's a South American sport, but it's played in Florida. Oh, okay. Thank you guys for letting me know what sport that was. Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it. I think someone else said that too. Derek Holloman. Yep. Awesome. So Derek Holloman and Aaron Stepien. Welcome to the chat, Aaron. Yeah, so thank you for letting me know about that. We're still on the Pulse page, I believe, says Zedburn. If anybody wants mole rats, apparently Zedburn says they're still on Pulse. Soundwave8177, welcome to the chat, says, what's wrong with the app? I just pre-ordered my Snake Battle suit just now. Alright, so Soundwave says he just pre-ordered his, so if anybody wants to get their battle armor, go ahead and do it. Hopefully it works for you guys. Hal Jordan says, this is the only time I've ever had an issue on my iPad and cell phone. Oh damn, you're actually using an iPad? I don't even know how that would work. That's crazy. Vil says, I'm done. I can't deal with that pink prompt anymore. Aw. Saladin says, I got my 3. Alright, so that is Frag Viper. I guess we kind of milked him to death at this point. I guess we can all agree he's kind of like a mixed breed of whether needed or not, but because he's not sold out, we can kind of guess where Classified is heading in terms of what figures people really, really want and what figures are not going to sell out. And based on observation, it just seems like I have a feeling that if Hasbro continues to kind of lollygag and give us these types of characters, it's really going to put a damper on the line just because people are just so eager to get the figures that they really want. So, and Frag Viper it's a cool character, but again, is it a figure that people really want? No, but you know, do you have the option? Sure. Like he's like a deep cut army builder, like especially if you saw the Deke series. So it makes sense to me. So that is Frag Viper. We can now officially put this guy to rest until we see him sometime again in the future. But yeah, pretty cool. Knee pads. LOL. Alright, so up next we have Darklon. Alright, chat, let me know what you guys think of Darklon. Also, segue, please go ahead and like this video. It'll definitely help the algorithm, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. And shout out to all less than 60 people here in the chat. Still great numbers. I really do appreciate those that are in the chat and those that are still watching, even if you're not in the chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Joel Gonzalez, welcome to the chat. I believe this is your first time here. He says avalanche and hit and run. That's what I need. Avalanche. Isn't Avalanche also part of the Battle Force 2000? Or are you talking about the... Was there two different versions of Avalanche? I don't remember. Robert says, except for Cobra Troopers, I need all of them. Antonio says, I like him, but not enough to army build. Darklon looks like a sleeper hit, says Ionic Blood. Rachel says, can't wait to have Darklon in hand. Jason Ludwig, I think this is your first time in the chat, says, yo, I gave up on Hasbro's BS. Right on, brother. Mr. Madga says, pass, and hard caps. Virgo says, the line is still strong. Snake Eyes version 4 that everyone wants. Battle armor, monkey wrench, and more. Agreed. I mean, there's still a lot of hard hitters, don't get me wrong. It's just Hasbro is like really prolonging it at this point. Yes, first of all, shout out to Rachel Salinas, who's freaking always on point with her knowledge on G.I. Joe. I give you my absolute respect and applause for always having the... Rachel is like my backup correction to my live streams. Whenever I make like a mistake or a little blunder here and there, she's always quick to point it out. So thank you so much, Rachel. I do appreciate that. It's like Bob Ross always says, we don't make mistakes, just happy accidents. Zed Burn says, wasn't Avalanche a vehicle name too? Joshua says, I ordered Darklon even though he kind of looks like if a kid designed their own Halloween costume. I like Darklon, but I know they will re-release a new color deco. I feel like one of the reasons why Darklon is a needed figure is because he's getting the Iron Grenadiers, you know, supposedly Destro treatment, right? So it's one of those things where if you're a huge fan of the Iron Grenadiers, then it's like you might as well complete it with getting Darklon. Like personally, even like for someone like me that has a minor in graphic design, when I look at the color scheme of Darklon, I'm like, who the hell colored this shit? Like it's like the most ugliest color scheme ever. However, design wise, I think it looks freaking sick. You know, like I love the helmet. I like it for what it is. It's just even though he has Tomax and Zermatt's bottom half, but because it's like an Iron Grenadier and Destro's cousin kind of thing, it's like, okay, like, you know, you kind of want to have like the family together type of thing. And you know, some people may have grown up with this figure, some haven't. It's one of those figures where it's like whether you need it or not, it's really up to you. But oh, Joel says Blizzard. Oh, okay, Blizzard. Got you. Yes, Blizzard. Welcome to the chat. Nerd Alert says, I'm almost 50. Darklon is not in my bag. Shout out to the Nerd Alert. He says he is 50 years old. Or did you say you're almost 50? Oh, he said he's almost 50. Damn. How does it feel like to be 50? Do you have any wisdom you want to shed with us, Nerd Alert? Antonio says, do you think they would pull out the stun and a Joe vehicle in place of a HasLab? That's actually a very valid question. Now, they could easily skip on the HasLab this year, and instead of giving us a HasLab, they could actually give us other vehicles to substitute the HasLab. A good example would be Destro's Despoiler, or maybe the Thunder Machine, or even I don't know, whatever vehicle like you guys want in classified that's not big enough to be super duper big, but just you know, not something that's price worthy, but it is what it is. So I think that's a very valid thing. If it's true that we're not getting a HasLab this year, maybe Hasbro might actually give us other vehicles instead. Maybe Zartan Swamp Skier, maybe I don't know. I mean, because I feel like the bigger vehicles like the Mauler and then the other ones, I think those are HasLab worthy. But yeah, that's a very good one. Looks like everyone is tossing in their age here, so I guess I'll just read it on the chat. Ionic Blood with the LOL, but Russell Terrell starts it off with 53 here. Robert says I'm 52. Mr. Madga says 56. Whoa, pretty awesome. Ionic Blood says 45. Joe Gonzalez says 42. Zed Burns 47. Derek Holloman 49. Virgo says 46. Benedict 31. Okay, Benedict, we got a young, pretty young one in here, so that's good. Aaron Seppian says 51. Is okay. Mr. Madga still holds up as the oldest. V Anderson says 46. Joshua says 45, but I get stuff after my time. Saladin says 52. Brett says 50. Royce Wilkins says 48. Raging Sherbert says 51. Corey says, damn, I'm 21. Shout out to Corey. We have a 21-year-old in the chat. Welcome, welcome, dude. That's freaking awesome. We got some youth in here. Really good. Mix Big, the Fun Man says 27. Beginner Gunner says 51. Oh, holy shit. Vil the Great says, today is my birthday. Hold on. Everyone in the chat, let's all wish Vil the Great a very, very, very happy birthday. Happy birthday, Vil the Great. Thank you so much for being an amazing person on my channels. So, should I sing you a song? I don't know. Maybe at the end of the stream. But happy birthday, Vil the Great. All right. So while everyone wishes Vil, let's move on to the next guy. Also, I do like Darklon's alternate head sculpt, so that would give me an incentive to buy the figure. Vil the Great with the birthday surprise says, my order just went through. Okay, so for those that are having trouble, go ahead and check your Hasbro Pulse website. He says his orders went through, so try now. Try. Go try. Stop listening to me and go try. Alright, so that was Darklon. Up next, let's see who we have next. This is all out of order, but let's see who we have next. Alright, up next we have Footloose. What do you guys think of Footloose? I will cheers to you, Vil the Great, because it is your birthday. Shout out to you, so I will sip my coffee on your behalf. See, this is why I love streaming with all you guys, just because we keep the chat so positive, we keep it fun, we keep it entertaining and engaging, and you guys really help it make it exciting. So thank you guys for always making the chats fun. Huge love and respect to everybody who keeps it mature, who keeps it even if people have opinions on figures, we're all supportive of it, or we all have our what do you call it? We all have our feedbacks, but no one is putting anyone down. No one is trashing anybody. We're all here keeping it positive. So thank you guys so much for being the best chat that I can ask for. So, but let's take a look at what we have for Footloose. Okay, so Mr. Madgus says a definite yes. Migs Big says I dig it. Virgo says Footloose is a boring design but very solid looking. Shots fired from Virgos. Benedict says Footloose is a get for me. I need to get a couple for fig bashing and customizations. Very true. He does have that aesthetic to him. He just has like a boom boom star mustache. He kind of reminds me of one of those lead singers from the band Toto. Hold the line. Love isn't always on time. Whoa, oh, oh. Bobby Kimball, I think that's his name. Footloose looks decent. I'll pick one up, says Rachel. Zedburn says he's infantry. His pants would be tucked into his boots. I believe those are Airborne's legs, right? Probably. V. Anderson says, I've always liked him. Maybe it's just because of the song. Shark emojis from Vil. Derek says, I grabbed him just missing a few... What? Raging Sherbert says, least it's not a pink missile. Solo Center says, didn't love him in the renders, but in real life... Yeah, Solo Center makes a good point. When they showed him in the live stream today, I thought he looked much better than the actual render. The render kind of was like, but still, the figure did look a little bit darker and a bit better, in my opinion. Nerd Alert says, I want to like him, waiting on in person. A lot of stuff has been a hit or miss. Very true. Yeah, I have a feeling like I mean, he's a pretty classic character, so really good chance he could sell out, but really good chance we could see him in the wild too, like maybe at Target. I know Walmart sucks, so probably at Target at some point. Saladin says, I love the figure mold and sculpt. I freaking love it with the hearts. Russell Terrell says, I like the fact that they didn't go crazy with too many add-ons and it looks more military. Yeah, he's got the classic greens with the camos. The vest looks really good. Standard nice brown vest. You got the grenades on the left. The helmet looks cool. Weapons, backpack. I just hope that moving forward they actually make better backpacks that actually can peg in the figures. I mentioned this in the last stream that I'm not really a fan of a lot of classified backpacks. They're not that great. Robert says no. Yeah, I don't want to say that word on stream, but you're absolutely right, Robert. Beginner Gunner says, I had to place my order from 3 different sources to pre-order all today's releases. Welcome, Beginner Gunner, to the chat. That's crazy. Imagine the amount of heart, blood pressure trying to race against time on 3 different websites to pre-order figures. Like, I don't blame you at all, man. Some of these figures can sell out like hotcakes. Promo shots look great, by the way. Very true. I like them, but I'll wait for it to go on sale, says Vil. Corey says, welcome Corey to the chat, says he looks great, but I already have my rocket guy, as in Bazooka. Benedict, Footloose has a fig buck classified Falcon, should have initially used. Yeah, the Night Force Falcon with Quarrel 2-pack is a freaking bulky ass figure with, I think it's an Outback body, or Outback's arms. And then the first release, the Ugly Falcon, he was too skinny, too slim. But you're actually right. I think this would be a very ideal body mold for a Falcon, a 3rd charm for Falcon, even though the Night Force one is still pretty good. He looks great, but I already read that. Mr. Madgus with a triggering comment. What do you think about them knees? Okay, so it doesn't look as bad as I thought. My only complaint would have to be when you bend the actual knee joints, you're going to see the olive green colors underneath, because in the live stream, you will notice that when he was positioned in whatever, firing position that he was in, you'll notice that the knee pads were there very subtly and dark, but you can see the olive green color underneath, which kind of, it breaks the color scheme, because I guess they can't color the actual knee joints all the same color. So I think that's what kind of gets you know, annoys me when it's kind of like how in Marvel Legends figures when you have a Spider-Man figure and he has like the blue arms but the pin joints are red, right? It really knocks you out of like it just kind of ruins it. Christian says getting it with the exclamation mark. Virgo says I didn't know green shirts were coming. I would use him as an army builder. I mean, you can still buy multiple Footlooses and have these guys coincide with the green shirts. Saladin says he looks like a P-star to me. Love him, LMAO. 80s boom boom star for sure. If you're having issues on the app, just try a different form of payments. That's literally what worked for me, says Vil the Great. I need to re-emphasize what Vil the Great just said for those that are having issue with Hasbro Pulse. He says, if you are having issues on the app, just try different forms of payment. That's literally what worked for me. So if you're having issues, go ahead and check out different forms of payment. Burlap looks awesome, but they did miss the mark. His boots are covered up. Hold on. I think my Footloose figure is down here. Give me a second. Alright, so I just grabbed my original Footloose figure. So we could see here that he resembles it quite well. A little bit more of a greener grenades. I don't think it's gonna focus that well, but green grenades. And I want to see what everyone thinks about the boots though, because the boots on this figure are still tucked in, but you can see the side of the boots has like the color scheme. I'm sure that the classified version has it too, but roughly the same style there. So I guess that's cool. Finally it focused. I'm gonna keep it still, but no, lost it, but okay, whatever. Alright, so that's cool. I like the camouflage on Footloose. Says Joel, is the rocket coming out of the wrong end? I forgot how it works for Bazooka, because no, I think it's coming out the right end, because I think in the back where you see like, wait, I mean, it does have the eyeball in that little face, so maybe they just placed the the decal wrong. I'm not sure. Evan says welcome to the chat. Oh, sorry. Well, Evan, welcome to the chat. I think it's your first time here. He says, do you know any news on the Striker with Crankcase? I believe Striker will probably be Yojo June, if anything. I still think the boots look a bit small. The pot probably colors wrong end. Benny says, you put Retro Duke and Footloose together with Grunt and you have an army build as a squad. Very good, valid point, says Benny 275. I think it's your first time in the chat. I could be wrong. I still think the boots look oh, I read that already. Zedburn says they probably colored it the wrong end. Yeah, because even I had yeah, because the handle is by the top left. I don't know, whatever, man. Vil the Great says, oh yeah, so like the video if you haven't, and let's get up to 70 likes. All right, tonight's mission, let's see if we can get to 70 likes on tonight's stream. We'll start small, so if you guys can like the video, if you haven't already, please go ahead and do so. I would appreciate that. We will help the algorithm kick some butt. Joshua says Footloose's stash is too distinctive to army build for me. I mean, that's where you would have to swap heads with the other green shirt army builders, I suppose. That is true. The mustache is very distinctive, but I think that's where you have to like yeah, I mean, if you buy the other army builders, you can definitely replace the head sculpts, unless the pegs are wrong or the ball joints are different, then who knows. Benny says, "What's up, buddy? Longtime fan from your other channels." I do, yeah, because I do remember your name. It's very very grateful that you're here. So thank you for being supportive on any of the channels that I have. I feel like the Artist Shark has expanded to like 7 different channels, which is pretty hilarious to me. I think Footloose would cuff his pants low if it's the slacker chill dude character. Thank you, Aaron Stepien. He says he just just smashed. He smashed that button. Johnny Reno says that's an M72 law. The rocket is definitely coming out of the wrong end, but on par with his rifle. Okay, so Johnny Reno says it's definitely coming out the wrong end. So Hasbro blunders there again. Sean Rs is praising Sabotage X88. Hell yeah. Alright, so let's move on from Footloose. We still got a lot more to talk about, and we're still an hour deep, so holy shit, we got a lot to go. Alright, up next. Oof. I have mixed reactions for this guy, but the chat, let me know what you think of Blowtorch. There are some good things, there are some off things, but overall, it's a solid release. Joshua says it's telling of Shark's quality that so many have followed him over multiple channels and relaunches. I mean, that's the fear of everything, right? It's like, you guys have no idea how traumatized I am just making any G.I. Joe video, because I just feel like, you know, the same thing can just happen again. So that way, you know, we'll see. But thank you. What was it? Sabotage says Shark was my first Joe YouTuber I paid attention to. Well, thank you so much, Sabotage. I appreciate that. That really does mean a lot to me. But yeah, shout out to Sabotage, and because, you know, you are a great supporter, if you are not watching Sabotage's videos, go ahead and check out his YouTube channel as well. He makes some pretty dope content. I do watch your videos, by the way, Sabotage, so I am subscribed to it. I just keep it hidden. So there you go. Evan says, I have a question. If you could pick 5 vehicles to release and 5 figures to release, what would they be? Alright, so Evan is giving me a challenge. 5 figures. 5 figures I want to release. Mainframe, Night Viper, Hydro Viper, and Psych Out, and any one of the Battle Force 2000 figures. I am holding deep to my roots. I will be floating in hell if they make Battle Force 2000. I grabbed a Blowtorch. He really doesn't look that bad. It says Raging Sherbert. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where renders obviously look different compared to the actual figure itself. So, yeah, I mean, I give them credit for giving like the goggles translucent, so look, you can see the eyes underneath, and then the helmet, and then plus he has the pork chop sandwich face sculpt, which is really good. Virgo says, I like Blowtorch. Well, Aaron says, I like Blowtorch's new muted colors. Very true. The dark does help out for sure. Rachel says, Blowtorch looks cool. He'll be a fun addition to the line. Yeah. It's just one of those things where he's going to look so intense next to Barbecue. He looks better than I thought than the render, says Mr. Madgus. Benny says, definitely squad leader with a group of 4 barbecues. Damn, 4 barbecues? That's crazy. The head sculpt, he rocks. pork chop sandwiches. I mistype wasn't what I missed. Mawcom, I hope I said that right, says Shark, if that was my case, I would have quit already, so thank you for staying getting all the info for us. I am trying my best, brother. Thank you so much for supporting the channel and leaving comments on the videos too. Solo Center says it's funny how they'll release like 4 characters with flamethrowers banned by the Geneva Convention, but not a hooded Cobra commander. I mean, even in the comics, there's another version of hooded Cobra commander, but it's more like a mask, not so much of a hood. So who knows when the hell that's even gonna come out. I mean, imagine like we never even get one at all. Like that would be so terrible. If any case, just buy the blue suited guys from Monster Force, from Fresh Monkey Fiction. They have a blue hooded Cobra commander head sculpt. Easy swap right there, hopefully, if the pegs are all the same. Benedict says, I want G.I. Joe Extreme characters and classified. Oh, honestly, G.I. Joe Extreme is an under-ass rated show. I don't know how, what do you call it? If you haven't seen G.I. Joe Extreme, you probably might not like the animation style or the choice of characters they used, but give it a try. It's actually a really good show. Barbecue and Hit Square Off. He still has a classic retro vibe. Yeah, because I feel like the retro version, they're just gonna tone down. Because you see those, I don't know, I forgot what you call them, those little silver circle things he has on his outfit. The original O-ring version, they're all just yellow. So there's a really good chance that he could get a re-release and it's like more vibrant yellow with the vibrant red. This has like an Iron Man aesthetic to it with the darker reds and yellows, but yeah, like it does look good. It's just one of those things where I personally might need to see it in person to really win me over. Marcom says it's crazy how you remember all of that. Wait, what do I remember? Oh, from the comics. Man, there's a lot of things that goes on in my brain. I got the Crimson Hooded Coco pre-order from Big Bad Toy Store. Yeah. Oh wait, Crimson. Okay. Oh, Crimson. That's from the Fresh Monkey one. Yeah. Season 1 of G.I. Joe Extreme is peak 90s cheese glory. Yeah, 100% agree. Pork chop sandwiches. All right, let me see what else we get. All right. So I think we can say Blowtorch is more of a positive figure than lackluster. I guess everyone mostly likes him, so that's good. That general pack is so good from Fresh Monkey. I agree. They should retro him with a sculpted helmet, just one head. I mean, I kind of do like the alternate head sculpts just because it gives it diversity, and if you watched even the G.I. Joe cartoon, you'll see like a lot of them are also not helmeted a lot of scenes. So it does definitely help if they're just chilling like in some type of bunker, or you know, because there's a lot of G.I. Joe episodes where you'll see characters in the background who are watching TV, like grilling, playing ping pong or playing basketball, and they're all like without their helmets and stuff. So I guess it makes sense to kind of have like a non-helmeted version. Shout out to, who is it? Jimmy So, welcome to the chat. It's been so long, brother. Good to see you. Says, hey, my man. Exclamation marks. I ordered Blowtorch and Footloose. One of the first release shows I had as a kid had Footloose too. He was, so I buried him somewhere near the bushes in front of the yard of the house I grew up in. Damn. Sergeant Savage and the Screaming Eagles in Antonio. Yeah. I mean, Sergeant Savage is technically the Captain America of G.I. Joe. I agree about Fresh Monkey Fiction. Got most of the Red Shadow Kid bashing things ordered. I mean, yeah, it says Sabotage. Yeah, so I agree. The Crimson, or was it? Sorry, I'm thinking of Valaverse, Crimson Shadows. The Red Shadow, whatever the hell they're called. The Blood Moon something from Fresh Monkey. Those are pretty cool. Alright, so let's move on from Blowtorch. Feel like he's a good buy. People like him, so that's good. Alright, let's see who's next here in my randomness Wheel of Fortune roulette. Okay, so Mutt and Junkyard. Sorry. Law and Order. I'm sorry. Alright, so what do you guys think about Law and Order? Russell Terrell says Order of the Crimson Moon. Yes, there you go. That's pretty cool. Would be awesome if you went back and he was still there. Wouldn't it make more sense for Blowtorch to have a buzz cut, long hair, and intense heat don't mix? I guess they're just going based off the cartoon. Jimmy. No, sorry, Benedict. Jimmy says, so good to see you back. I didn't order Blowtorch, but the photo looks good. Yeah, it seems like there's like mixed reactions with this wave. A lot of people are either skipping out on some figures, some have just purchased like maybe or pre-ordered like 1 or 3, others have waited, others, yeah, they obviously got like all of them, but it seems like this is like, especially from last pre-order, it seems like people have been kind of being very, very selective with classified, because not every figure is part of their lore of collecting, because, you know, there are some collectors who are completists, but you know, I feel like a lot of collectors are also enjoying the concept of you know, just buying what you really like. So that's cool. Zed Burn says his face looks like somebody. Yes, I agree. I don't know what though, or who. Law and Order looks great, says Benedict. Virgo says easy get for me. Robert says easy get. V says this was my favorite. Order 2 says, well, V got 2. Zed Burn says William Regal. Oh, we got a wrestling reference. William Regal. That could be it. Canelo says Ionic Blood. Migs Vic says amazing set. Love Law and Order says Sabotage. Benny is retracting his message. Johnny Reno says Law and Order is the best figure from the pre-order drops handout. Yeah. Hold on, let me see what else we got here. Absolute yes. I'm waiting to find out at lower prices. Christian is playing the waiting game. Christian, I believe you're from Canada, right? So what is the price in Canadian dollars for this figure? Joel says Law and Order for sure. I'm a cat guy, but good doggy. Ordered says Joshua. Hey Yo says I agree with Sergeant Savage and his Screaming Eagles. That would be awesome. Aaron says, are those extra hand signals for the dog? Yes. Similar to Mutt and Junkyards, he does have the training hands, I believe. So that's good, because I believe like anytime the figure comes with like a dog, you got to have like a training type hands. Definitely helps, especially when they're wearing like the vest or like the muzzle. But good to see you, Christian. Hope to see you soon in the next stream. Beginner Gunner says it would be dope if the handcuffs locked and unlocked. Oh man, I don't even think Hasbro is capable of even freaking giving us unlocked and locking handcuffs just yet. Because realistically, the only way to put in handcuffs is you have to remove the hands and then place the handcuff in between the peg and the wrist, and then you peg in the hand in order for it to actually be handcuffed. I don't think the plastic would be sturdy enough for them to actually have a working handcuff for that matter. Adam Torres with the funny G.I. Joe movie quote by saying, hey, Law and Order is a team, man. He finds the bombs, I drive the car. We tried it the other way, but it doesn't work. And then, alright, I want to see who's the first person in the chat. What does Beachhead say to Law and Order after they piss him off with the bomb? Let me see who's the first person to write it in the chat. It could be delay or lag, so I apologize if I read it out of order, but I'm just reading it based off what my screen shows. So let's see who the first person can answer that question. That may work if you pop the hands off and add these. I read about some real world battle dogs. Handlers get very close. Mix Big, the fun man, is the winner because he says, I hope you both get fleas. Yes, that was actually one of the funniest things I remember from that scene. So congrats to Mix Big for winning the small little fun game we just did. If you guys don't remember from the 87 G.I. Joe movie, Beachhead trains these new recruits and they all kick his ass in one way or another, and Beachhead just like Big Lob and Tunnel Rat, what do you call it? Big Lob and Tunnel Rat do their little whatever you call it, their training, and then Beachhead slams the remote control like on the ground. And then with Jinx, he gets his ass kicked by her, and then with Chuckles, he goes, next time Chuckles use the rocket launcher, and then with Law and Order, he says, I hope you both get fleas. So good stuff. But before I switch over to the next figure, I do want to mention, based on one of my previous streams, if you guys remember, there's a really good chance we could be getting another version of Law and Order, because if you look at this version right here on the screen, he has a lighter blue vest. He has an open chest piece where you can see the red shirt underneath. And I think the pants and all that is roughly the same. But if anybody cares about the color differences of the blues, then I don't know. There's a really good chance we could see a cartoon version of this guy if it's much of a drastic difference. But who knows? It's possible. Oh, Mr. Madguest, the crowd ain't the only thing that's going bananas. You're right. Good to see you, Beginner Gunner. Thank you so much for being in the chat. I knew something sarcastic. As soon as I read it, I remembered. Rawhides, yep. Okay, so I guess we can confirm that Jimmy So says on the live stream, Lenny said that you can plug something onto the top or side of his jacket. I honestly, I wasn't paying attention. But if that's so, then that would be dope. Sabotage says, I think they said the vest is closed for design reasons. I mean, I would call bluff on that one, just because there's a really good possible chance that this vest could be reused for another character. I don't remember who can reuse this vest. Maybe it's just one of those money things where it's like, oh, how can we save money with having a closed vest we can use with another figure who has the same style of vest. But yeah. All right. But I guess we can all agree that oh shit, hold on. Joshua says they skipped the MP armband. Does he have an armband here? Yeah, you're right. Okay, look at the original O-ring figure. He actually has an armband right there, the black armband. And he's not wearing it on the actual classified version. Oh shit. Good call, Joshua. Good call. All right. Jimmy So says, I have cut open one of these vests with a cutter. They probably left the MP band off not to differentiate G.I. Joe from the actual army. I think they said it's closed because of the radio being detachable. Okay, makes sense. All right, we still got a long way to go, so let's move on to the next figure, because so we can agree that Law and Order was, to most people, a good purchase. Zed Burn says it's on the helmet. I don't see it. Okay, anyways. Up next. All right. We have the big meat and potatoes of the entire stream, which is the battle snake, or the snake battle armor, whatever the hell. which was the big emphasis of the stream, which to my surprise went up for pre-order very early. Now, before I get into the pros of this thing, I do want to nitpick on this really quickly, and I don't know if anyone will agree with me, and it's okay if you don't. But when Lenny actually picked it up and brought it onto the table and was placing it onto the table, I don't know about you guys, but it seemed very wobbly. It seemed like the plastic was not that great, and it seems like, as great as it looks, I fear that something about it during the stream, it just didn't really look sturdy enough. Maybe it's a prototype-ish, but they had 3 on hand, so I don't know. It's just the way he held it, and you can see the legs like dangling like left and right kind of thing. I was kind of like a little skeptical when I saw it, but I was very surprised to see that the price point for this one was $75. So throughout previous live streams, we were all talking about how it could have been $100 or something, but the fact that they made it $75, I think they said the reason why to justify the price point was they didn't want to include an actual driver to this thing, or like a trooper to be included inside the snake armor, which I think was probably a little tease. Maybe somewhere down the line they're going to release like a pilot for this dude or this big ass machine, but for now, you know, you can use the Cobra Ferret driver, or you can use the Cobra Stinger driver to maneuver this machine. But in order for them, because that would have made the price an additional like what, $20-$25, so they excluded a figure, which made some sense. But yeah, so the legs really did not look that appealing to me. So but like I said, go ahead and check it out on the stream. Watch that segment of them breaking this thing out. I was just like, again, I didn't really like the fact that when he was holding it, you can just see how even when they were putting it on the table, you can just see how the figure was like topping like up and down. Like it just looked very loose and not like a sturdy plastic. And as Mr. Madga says, top heavy, or Benedict says hollow plastic. I agree 100% with that. So it could be, like Title Manishir says, it could be a production sample. So I agree. But if I would have agreed if it was a production sample, I don't know how many samples they need. I mean, I guess it makes sense to have multiples, but to display it on the actual live stream, it's just one of those things where if you have 3 of them, I expected at least 2 out of the 3 to be like sturdy, but all 3 of them were like flimsy and flopping, you know, by the lower half. So I was kind of like a little skeptical about it. But the pros for this big ass machine, is aside from the price, is that you can fit any figure you want in here, and yeah, you can army build it, so, which is cool. Robert says they are going to hold down my Dragonfly. I think for photography, imagine the Dragonfly shooting the shit out of these robots. That would be really sick. Joshua says if he's wobbly, I'll lead him on something. Robert says I wish they should have showed articulation. Yeah, very, very skeptical that they didn't put a chick in it and make him... Well, I don't want to say that word on the stream, says Benedict. But it's from Cartman. I'm okay with not having a figure. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to not add it. Hal Jordan says, the way the website is going, I'd like to shove this down Lenny's throat. What's the verdict for the website? Are we getting any... Is this thing sold out? Because apparently I didn't fully read the fine print. It was up for premium members at 1 p.m. and then it was up for general public, I think, at 2 p.m. So then I didn't check the website yet. So is it still sold out, or is it still there? I don't know what's happening right now. Saladin says he was holding it like it was fragile. I agree, it was fragile. Put a chick in it. Oh, I just read that. Mr. Madga says, I also hope the legs and arms are ratchets. It has to have like that clanky noise. One was enough. I'm putting a trooper in it. I'm putting a ferret driver. I'm sure they're durable enough for play posing around. Hard to pass, a standard for little kids to handle. Very true. Sabotage says it's still available. It's not sold out. Still available. Holy crap. So it's still available. So let me ask you guys in the chat, why do you think this thing is still available? Is it the price or is it the size? Or do you think a lot of collectors don't have the room for it? Do you think even being $75 is the situation, or do you think it's a glitch because, as Vil the Great says, it's probably the payment issue? A lot of people aren't able to, I guess, order it maybe, or maybe this isn't in everyone's cup of tea to collect. I'm not too sure, because I'm very shocked to read the comments that people are saying it's still available. Oh, it's because the website won't let anyone buy it, says Hal Jordan. Well, that's a shitty tease. People probably saw the stream and think it looked wobbly, says Zed Burns. Very true. The app was messed up, says Vil the Great. Joshua says they probably actually made enough this time. V. Anderson says the site issues. But see, now that makes it that makes it a concern, because does that mean, let's say you guys ordered the figure and you're getting the message saying that it didn't go through? Does that mean Hasbro Pulse removes it from your cart and you have to re-add it to your cart and re-add all that information in again? Or do you have, or does it stay in your cart and then it just tells you like your payment went through or something? Because that would really suck if you're roughly right there at the finish line and then the app is not working, or even the website, and then they just remove it from your cart, and then even if you had it in your cart, then you have to go back to get it there, and then you find out that it's sold out. Nathan Paul, welcome to the chat. I think this is your first time here. He says, I was able to get 3 luckily, but it was glitchy through the process. Holy shit. Nathan Paul got 3 of these big beasts. Zed Burns says, block you at checkout. Hal Jordan says, I've been refreshing all day on the place order page. Damn. I feel bad, man. Hal Jordan has been, this is what, it's almost 9 hours now of you refreshing. That is wild. Antonio says, if the price scalpers can bubble off these, you can't corner the market on this. I thought the Massive Ice Snake Eyes would have been sold out, but nope. Yeah, I mean, well, think of it this way: the Mass Device Snake Eyes, right? That thing, that 2-pack with the polar bear was what, $65, right? 60? Was it 60 or 65? Whatever. So you're getting a regular standard figure with a $40-something polar bear, and if you really think about it, if you pay an additional like $10-12, you're getting the freaking snake, this big ass snake armor dude. So like, how does that kind of make much sense to me in some aspect, right? Like, I think Hasbro got a little too greedy with the Snake Eyes figure, just because, again, the Snake Eyes, like, this thing is what, $75. You just take out $10 and you're getting a Snake Eyes figure. Like, how, I know it's just $10, $10 makes a big difference, but how does a Snake Eyes with polar bear equal up as close to this snake battle armor? You know what I mean? So I think that's why people might have maybe rubbed their eyes a little bit and realized, like, hey, that's kind of, I suppose, a valid point. I don't know. Let's see what... Hold on, what happened here? Sean R says, I'm thinking I can use it to kind of put missiles on my Rattler, like the Loader and Aliens. Makes sense. Hal Jordan says, don't get me wrong, I haven't been staring at the screen for the whole day, been going back and forth now and then through the day. Oh, okay, that's good. Russell says, one issue I had with the app asking for my phone number, even though it was filled in multiple times, I kept jumping back to it. It was because I just select my country. Hold on, but Russell Terrell, are you a Hasbro Pulse member or just whatever? Because I feel like with Hasbro Pulse, doesn't the website have the automatic payment already saved? Like, doesn't the browser save all your information? Or do you have to manually keep re-entering? Because I remember when I pre-ordered the HasLab Dragonfly at that time, this was before I think the website revamped or something. They had all my information saved, so I didn't have to go through the hassle. But I feel like this is kind of stupid, where collectors are kind of getting screwed of Hasbro not, you know, re-asking for information when technically it should be saved on whatever browser they're using. I don't want to get on a soapbox, says Zed Burns, but Hasbro just don't have their crap together at all. They act like a toy company that wants to be something else. They've been in the biz for how long? I mean, 80s? Snake Eyes should have been $45, perhaps $50. I agree. It'll scale with the ferret and arms and legs and piece of wheels, says Zed. Raging Sherbert says Polar Bear is super easy pass. Okay, so Russell is not a member. Benedict says the Polar Bear is cool but won't display well with the Joe figures. I mean, I'm no Polar Bear expert, but with global warming, it doesn't really snow as much as it does here on the East Coast. So what am I going to do with the Polar Bear in the middle of July? Again, it's really for like an indoor, like unless it's like freaking December or January and we get those random snowstorms. But let's say you live in California, like imagine someone goes out in like 80-degree weather and they're putting a polar bear with their display. Like, I don't know, kind of. But again, it's a deep cut. It makes sense for me in the sense of like, okay, it's from the cartoon. I 100% get it, but it was too far of a deep cut to add a polar bear. You know, like the polar bear wasn't like a classic pet, like how we have Law and Order, Mutton Junkyard, or Snake Eyes and Timber kind of thing. Bill says I'm correct with the shark emoji. Joshua says they do save it, but the phone number screws it up with the country code. I have to type in one. What did Benedict say? Oh, okay. Wait, no. Okay, I read that. Sabotage says my info was saved, but still had to confirm CVC like 10 times. Oh man, that sucks. You can always paint the bear brown. I would if I had the skills to do it. Since they revamped the website, it asks to enter your phone number sometimes, even though it's there already. Damn, that sucks. Ionic Blood with the Jada Toys Zangief fighting polar bear diorama. That would work. That's cool, actually. Yeah, mix and match. Throw some polar bears with some Street Fighter figures. Mr. Madga says Flint and Lady J had more interaction with the polar bears than Snake Eyes. Didn't Snake Eyes just get bitch slapped and then that was it? I don't remember him actually. Yeah, I mean, I know they fought in the cartoon, but yeah. Don't forget there was a polar bear in 2 classic Sunbow episodes. I mean, what if they release Iceberg and Iceberg comes with a giant ass killer whale? Would you guys buy a classified killer whale? That would be funny. All right, let's move on to the next one because we still got a few more stuff to talk about. Holy crap! Sorry. I mean, this basically tells you how much stuff they revealed in one day. Yeah, so that was the Snake Battle Armor. Congrats to those who are, I guess, somewhat able to get it. If not, keep trying. Hopefully you'll be able to get it. All right, so up next, let's take a look at the... okay, what do you guys think of the retro army builder green shirt dudes? I mean, classic army builders. People have been wanting to get green shirt dudes, and now we finally got them. So this has been leaked, or we've seen a leak of this before on I think Weibo.com or Reddit, I don't remember. So we finally got it. Now, my 2 cents on the green shirt army builders is, even if you watched the G.I. Joe cartoon, you will see in many episodes that the green shirt dudes, they do appear in a lot of episodes. Like, they are in the background, they're fighting the other Cobra troopers, they're just shooting, but the main essence of G.I. Joe in particular is that the G.I. Joes are a group of well-trained individual characters where they themselves are the actual army. So, you know, they're kind of like a one-man band, right? So every G.I. Joe is trained specifically for a certain task, and it's like they can kind of kick Cobra's ass or fight the troop builders themselves, whereas I don't know necessarily how many of these I would want, because again, the whole point of G.I. Joe is the main core dudes, and then these guys are like in the far back. But it does make sense to get army builders, just because if you want, like, you know, if a Joe is actually doing an intense mission, you have these guys kind of like fooling around with the red and blue lasers in the background. Benedict says good for customizations, good for kid bashing, says sabotage. Vil the Great says figure solid. Zed Burn says, I forgot somebody said that this probably should have been a 2-pack. It probably would have been better, but I guess 1 is fine. 2-pack for $40, says Zed Burns. Russell says, if they make the upper the same green as the lower, then I would have gotten it. It's based on the cartoon. Yeah, I think in the cartoon it was the lighter green torso and darker green bottom. I may get one on sale. I mean, I don't know how they would actually be on sale though. Antonio says, but we need more variants of them, Asian, Hispanic. Yeah, I mean, so far we've gotten only 2 colored skin tones. I don't know when we'll ever get like Asian and Hispanic. But that is a good idea. We definitely need those. That would be good. And not to mention, these are the last 2 retro figures of the year. So we have this guy and the retro bat, which we'll talk about in a short bit. Usually they have 3 retro figures, or sorry, they have 9 figures per year, but this one, I believe they only have 7. 7? I don't remember. 7, as Monica says. 7. Yep, Joe's need some army builders. We'll get 2 on sale. Joshua says Shark is right. Joe is outnumbered by Cobra because they're elite. Yeah, I mean, rightfully so. I mean, it makes sense to do it that way. That's how I always seen it in the cartoon. You rarely see these green shirt dudes unless there's like a, you know, most of the time you see the Joes shooting the Cobras, and then these green shirt guys are really like in the super background. Zed Burn says National Guards. Jimmy So says, so the heads come with the neck. Yeah, oh yeah, you're absolutely right. That would have been funny if it wasn't. I wonder if they'll give us sparks. Yo, these guns actually should have came with red and blue lasers, like attachable, like a little beam of like red laser. That would have been sick. Bullet Fodder says Madgus. Benedict says, never understood with the green shirt in the lore. Steel Brigade made more sense for Joes in training. I mean, these guys are more like, what do you call it, jobbers? Respectfully so. This guy is getting the gridiron treatment, says Ionic Blood. Very true. I'm sure gridiron will definitely come up with something crazy. Sean R says, one of these coming out. No release date just yet. I'm sure sometime soon. I mean, there's other figures coming out, so I'm assuming maybe Yojo June, if not, probably later down the line. Let's see here. Hasbro once again leaving money on the table. Why not sell them head packs? I mean, Valaverse is killing it right now with their head packs. I think G.I. Joe needs to kind of get on top with that. Zedburn says 8. 60th anniversary sniper Asian head. Okay. Madga says Hasbro once again oh, I just read that. Raging Sherbert says more excited for the greens than the Sunbow bat. Oh yeah, we gotta get to the bat. Crap, I'm running out of time. Antonio says, how is that custom Tiger Force tunnel rat doing? Say no more, my friends, say no more. Where are you? Oh crap. Alright. So I don't know if you saw it on the Retro Shark channel. My classified display has been moved up there on the top. I mean, you guys obviously can't even see it, but it's doing well. I have it displayed there, so don't worry. My apologies. I had my classified figures back here, but then I removed them from here and I put them on a top shelf up here. So I'll show you a photo or a picture of that sometime once I get it displayed. So it's there. Trust me. I moved it, so it's fine. It's still a good figure. Don't get me wrong. But thank you for that. It's like what I mentioned before. Anybody who had ever sent me any type of subscriber gift, anything, I make sure that I keep it in front of me. I'm not one of those YouTubers who takes gifts and then throws it in a bin or shoves it to the side. Like, I make sure that the gifts are the forefront more than my personal collection. So you'll be surprised. Anything that anyone has ever sent to me as a subscriber gift, I have it literally in this room somewhere. It's all here. So yeah. Bill the Great says we need a sci-fi man. Hell yeah, we do. Shout out to Mr. Sampson. Welcome to the chat. Says, never understood the green shirts. G.I. Joe was the best from all branches of service to form special teams. These guys are little more than janitors, gas attendants, and laundry personnel. Yeah. Yeah, I think we were mentioning all that earlier. Just these guys are really like the background, like super duper background characters. Like, you won't really see these in the animated series as much, but they are there. They're just chilling, you know, with the red lasers. TF, I think this is your first time in the chat. He says green shirts are the best of the best green shirts. Oh man, imagine signing up to train for GI Joe and you're like, oh yeah, I'm a green shirt guy. Like, you're not even in the main Joe team. You're like a green shirt dude. Antonio says green shirts are cannon fodder. Very true. Antonio says we need sci-fi. We definitely need sci-fi, man. Sci-fi. I'm getting pissed off. Needed crowd, didn't want to pay animators extra. Yeah, very true. Sharks with their freaking laser beams on their heads. Yeah. I love the lasers, man. The lasers would have been sick. Benedict says, then remind me of the guys based off though it's been one of these strippers. Hal Jordan says, it ain't like Duke, Scarlet, Flint, or any of the others. I mean, again, it's just really one of those, like, even if you watch any type of military movie or even watch documentaries, you'll always see, like, the main dudes in the front, and then these guys are, like, the support. They're basically the support team, you know? It's like you guys keep shooting, distract them, while I'll go run around the corner and, like, you know, kick someone's ass. So sci-fi may be one of the last Joes I need, says TF. Well, speaking of sci-fi, what about this figure? So Hasbro gave us the retro bat figure, which is now, I don't remember how many bats we have, but this is actually cartoon accurate because we have the red visor, the faceplate, we have the translucent chest piece, it's got the vibrant yellows, so this is really kind of like in the animated series style, whereas the first bat was more on the O-ring version because it had the silver faceplate. So this is one of the cool things about G.I. Joe, despite how much annoying it is that they're all sloppy, they're not have a concise direction, but I'm starting to finally understand where they're going with this, because now it's like the mainline release is either a cartoon or it's either updated to some degree, and then we have the retro line. So this bat is a retro version, but hold on, wait, yeah, this bat is the retro, but then it's retro in cartoon cartoon. But Breaker was a mainline figure in a cartoon, but not a retro, because retro, that would be the... Yo, they are... Oh my goodness. Now my brain... Hold on. So that means they're not following an original plan then. Because Breaker was gray in the cartoon, but the original toy O-ring was green. And then, but the Gray Breaker, the cartoon, was a mainline figure. This bat is cartoon, but it's part of the retro. My brain is... Oh god. Oh man, I don't know. I give up. I don't know what the hell Hasbro is doing anymore. I have to overthink. As an artist, overthinking is a prerequisite. Sabotage says, I think Breaker was a mass device release according to the box art, not a mainline or retro. But then again, if it has a number on the box, then it's still considered mainline. Then even if it's like the subline of the mass device, it's kind of like how Python Patrol or even Tiger Forces. I'm passing, but Carbon scoring on these laser arms. Oh yeah, it does have the lasers. There you go. See? Cobra Island Breaker effed everything up, says Antonio. How so? Elvin Martinez, welcome to the stream and chat. Thank you so much for joining. Says sorry for arriving late. It's all good, brother. We are still chilling. We're still chilling. We still got a few more things to talk about. Is Hasbro done with Tiger Force? No, not necessarily, because we still have Tiger Force Lifeline. We still have Tiger Force Frostbite, I believe. And then we still got Tiger Force, the figure that came with the vehicle. So we still got it. And we have Tiger Force Beachhead, Tiger Force Jinx, Tiger Force Shipwreck, Tiger Force Snake Eyes, I think, and then yeah, we still got plenty more to go. As Zedburn says, Tiger Force Dragonfly and Vamp. Agreed. The flame effect is hot, says TF. Yes, it's cool translucent colors too. I love how the gradients of reds to oranges really do look. More Tiger Force, says Chris Ewell. For sure, for sure. Alright, so I guess we can all agree that the bat is fine. It's like, it is what it is. Either you want to army build it or not, really up to you, depending how many bats you want in the collection. Alright, so that was basically all of the pre-orders, or no, sorry. That was the two retro figures, the retro green shirt guy and then the retro bat. The last two remaining retro figures of the year of 2025, which I thought was shocking because we're not getting anything retro related until 2026. So that's pretty alarming because we still have to get Rock and Roll, Dr. Mindbender, and the Viper to be shipped. And then we have Flint, Cover Girl, and TeleViper. And then we have these two, Bat and Green Shirt. And then that's basically it for 2025. So Antonio says they should have gave us a gray version of Cobra Island and the green shirt version for the mass. Oh, yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. Russell Terrell says the next subline will be Battle Force 2000. Oh man, don't pull my shark fin, brother. You know how excited I am about that. All right, so that is the bat. We still got a few more things to talk about. Sabotage says he's still waiting on dial tone. You know, the crazy part is like a lot of collectors are really just buying from overseas, or they have their interconnections, or they just have like sources from wherever, where they're just buying it from like freaking China or like somewhere else, which is why a lot of them are getting like all their figures a lot earlier, like Heavy Duty and the Trench Viper and I don't know, like all the other ones. So let's move on from the bats. Couch Boy, welcome to the chat. I think this is your first time here. It says, is Cold Slither numbered? I've heard nothing about it's numbered. I don't remember. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I'm not sure. Mr. Sampson says Battle Force 2000 makes sense. They're running out of ideas. I mean, if you really think about it, within these 5 years, they've practically already gave us most of the main characters that a lot of us really wanted. So where they're heading from here is really a selective point. So Rachel Salinas with the clapback, she says, yes, it is numbered. There you go. Zedburn says Serpenter, Mindbender, Chuckles were numbered. Yeah, okay. I mean, I don't remember seeing numbers on the box. I just remember seeing like freaking gem posters and stuff like that. All right, but let's move on from this bat because we still got a few things to go over. What do you guys think of the Snake Eyes? Zoran the Barbarian, welcome to the chat. I believe this is your first time. He says, I want Airtight. What the F, Hasbro? I believe Airtight isn't coming till next year, as rumor says. Before we talk about the Snake Eyes, can you guys like this video if you haven't? Help the channel grow. Now, I have my few nitpicks on this figure, but let me see what you guys have to say about it. And while I'm at it, let me get my O-ring version. Oh, there we go. Okay, so while everyone weighs in their options, there's one thing about this figure that I don't know if Lenny touched up on. Maybe it's an artistic choice, maybe it's a color thing choice, I don't know, but when I looked at it, I was like, something looks off about it. Something isn't quite right. And the reason why I say that is because when you look at the original O-ring, and shout out to Mr. Sampson for sending this as a subscriber gift, you look at the original O-ring right here, which I hope it focuses. Focus, stupid. It's probably not going to focus. So we have the color scheme is slightly in the same aspect in terms of the O-ring version is lighter blue, but they still got the red goggles. The face mask is roughly the same, and then he's got the gray vest. He's got the black padding underneath, and then the gloves have more of a shin. I mean, like a what do you call it? The pads and stuff like that. Put my hand behind it. I don't know. I'm like stretching like crazy. Focus, you fool. Oh, it does work. That's funny. Thank you for referencing that. Okay. And then you can see the gray, the vest, all that stuff is cool. Now, the thing that I found very different that I thought was odd was the bottom. They colored it black instead of actual blue. So that's one of the things that I was kind of nitpicky on, because I was like, it takes away from the original aesthetic. Maybe it's a color thing, maybe it's a different design choice, I don't know, but the fact that his shin guards are black instead of blue kind of, I guess, gives it a modern approach, but not necessarily a classic style to it. So, wow, that hurt my shoulders. But yeah. Let me see what the chat says. Chris Yule says pass. Samson says, I'll get him. I hate myself for doing it, but I'll get him. No, sir. I've been here plenty of times, but it's been about a year. Oh, okay. I appreciate it. Robot Chicken episode. Snake Eyes is light on accessories. That's true too. I was out of G.I. Joes when this came along. We need Heat Viper. Pass. Vil the Great, hold that comment. You know I'm gonna have a visual for that. Couch Boy says, chat's hard for me. I'm always here listening. Yeah, I understand, bro. Don't worry about it. I still appreciate you joining in. Aaron says Airsoft Snake Eyes. Well, we have Cobra Island, Python Bat, Tiger Force, Night Force, and Marauders. I can buy it if I don't think of it as Snake Eyes. Needs a backpack. I don't think the original had a backpack, but it did have these orange accessories. So I think Lenny did mention that instead of having like these very vibrant accessories, you can see that they did color the swords, and then the hook, the gun still has like that bright orange color to it, but they scaled it back and still gave us like the black, you know, the handles for the katanas, and then the backpack though is the same as the Blue Ninjas, I think, and Kamakura and Akiko, I think, something like that. So he did have a backpack, okay. But this is like one of the same placeholder for the swords as Kamakura, I think, and was it Jinx? I don't remember. Or I think it's one of the Blue Ninjas. It's one or the other. Or was it Agent Helix? Don't remember. Thank you for pointing it out. I feel like it's missing more blue. Yeah. I mean, they did color his toes blue, so that's the difference. They colored his toes blue, but the shin guards are actually black, whereas the figure here, you can see that it's blue here, but the toes are black. So I guess it makes sense why they kind of switched it up, but it does look a bit incomplete to me. See, like, if you look at this figure from afar, you can just see how like the blues really do shine there. And then you look at that comparison right there, it looks kind of dark and gritty. So, and they added like some extra holsters and straps on his legs, which are fine. I'm just, you know, showcasing the shin guards part. Tomax and Zamat gun. Oh yeah. He had a launcher and a backpack. Yep. I think they said no launcher for this one, or something like that. I don't remember. Johnny Reno says, as a customizer, I'll just paint them. I actually agree with Zoran the Barbarian. He says, do it properly or don't do it. So it's one of those things where, you know, some updates make sense, but others don't necessarily need it, because it just seems, I don't know, the blues really do help make the figure pop. I'm just like, also, quick shout out here, we have officially reached tonight's stream goal of 70 likes. So thank you guys so much for liking this video and subscribing to the channel. I appreciate that. I had a stream goal of getting to 70 likes today, and we've made it. So thank you. Appreciate it. They sent him to the day spa. Probably gonna get him, but I'm really hoping he looks better than the render. Very true. I'm sure it will. The Vietnam 3-pack of what would be a dream set? Which Vietnam 3-pack? Zoran the Barbarian says, give him a sombrero. Hell yes, says Robert. Sweet. Alright, so we'll come back to the Snake Eyes in the future once they reveal like the actual figure. This is just a render for now, but we'll come back to this shortly. But let's talk about the, I guess, the other main highlight aside from the Snake battle armor, which was Vietnam 3 would be Snake Eyes, Stalker, and Storm Shadow. Oh, see, annoying is half the battle. We have Hawk with the MMS. What are your thoughts on this one? And if Rachel is still here in the chat, since Rachel is the GI Joe guru, my backup support, is this accurate? Is this an accurate Hawk, or is something missing on this one? I think he's using Rakondo's boots. I'll get this Hawk, must have it. Rocky says, I don't like the reuse of the blast effects. Antonio says, fire, I'm loving the Hawk. Zoran says, did they fix the wobbly hitch? Easy pass. I didn't even know the hitch was wobbly. I don't own the original one that came with the TELEVIPER. I like this one. I like it, but don't need another Hawk. I mean, technically, you could utilize this figure as something else or as someone else. You don't really have to use it as Hawk. You can just use it as another like cool green shirt type character. I mean, because remember when we were all kids, a lot of times we would buy figures. A lot of us wouldn't really utilize the names unless it's like a really cool character. If we had a character that we didn't really care about, we would just utilize it as another character or like a makeup character. So I guess you can use this Hawk for that matter. I like the MMS. We need some equipment and firepower to tow around, says Elvin. V Anderson says, I'm a bit jetpack. Yeah. Falcon's helmet. As a collection, the original 14, I'll have to get this. He's mostly grunt minus the boots. Yeah, I don't know if his torso is the same as grunt, if it has like that communicator gadget thing that pops out from the torso. Figures web gear is silver. He could be Hawk's son in your headcanon. Mini Hawk, Tony Hawk. I'm changing him to Hawk Tua Missile Specialist. That's funny. Vil says, you are correct, Shark Emoji. Hawk is classified updated. Hawk originally had bright blonde hair like short fuse and silver straps. Thank you, Rachel. Rachel, shout out to Rachel. Robert says, I'm going to make him Hawk's son. I mean, technically, Hawk Tua. Hawk 2. That's funny. But yeah, it's one of those figures where it's very subtle. Again, if you're a fan of the OG 13 or 14 for that matter, or like if you just want like your simple green shirt army versions, or if you want your classic original Hawk, then yeah, I mean, this makes sense. If you want it, people will definitely utilize this for their vamp, so that makes sense. I mean, hell, Rachel knows more than I do, which is awesome. I gave my Hawk one of the jetpacks. He hangs from the ceiling shooting a trouble bubble. I mean, I think the original the first classified Hawk is still a pretty solid figure. I do like the red gas shocks on the legs. Oh yeah. That looks cool. I can kind of hear it in my head. But yeah, so this is another one of those instances where Zoran says the vamp couldn't get one thanks to Hasbro. Does anybody remember the price of the TELEVIPER with the MMS? I don't remember what that price was. So technically, I believe this Hawk should... And I believe this Hawk is an Amazon exclusive for those who didn't pay attention in the stream. I totally forgot about it. This is a Amazon exclusive, which technically means I assume he'll also be on Hasbro Pulse. And right now we all know how much of a shit show it is on Hasbro Pulse. So being an Amazon, hopefully it shouldn't be as Shouldn't be as difficult because Amazon usually does pretty well. Holy craps, it was the TELEVIPER with MMS was $75. Jeez. Wait a minute. Hold on. Timeout. Timeout. Flag. White flag. Yellow flag. Timeout. So you're telling me that MMS with TELEVIPER, this small little gadget thing that attaches to the back of either a HISS tank or a vamp or a stinger with a figure, is the same price as a giant COBRA battle snake armor? Am I missing something here? What like, what's up with that? Like, I assume this, like, can somebody justify, if you guys are well knowledge on business perspectives, can you let me know how does a snake battle armor that's this massive giant machine that fits a figure is the same price as a figure in this smaller scale little vehicle thing? Because it's so my thing is, it's either the snake battle armor is probably very cheap quality. That's my guess. I think there's something that they're not telling us. Because something doesn't add up right to me. I was surprised at the snake armor price, to be honest. Me either. On 75 beans all day long, though I do like my HMS. Can they mark that down to $10 to $20 for standard packaging? I'm thinking because the launcher requires more tooling. I mean, you think so? Because isn't this the same rockets that come with the no, actually no, the Dragonfly uses the HISS tank versions. Okay, never mind, those are different. But I mean, Mr. Magus is saying because of tooling. I mean, I don't own the TELEVIPER with the HMS, so I can't tell if I should do. Oh, I should have done a comparison. Crap. Okay, we'll do that next stream. Whatever, it's fine. Vil the Great says it's 75 because it doesn't come with the figure, is what they're saying. Yeah. No, I remember that, but I'm just trying to think of it in the perspective where, like, that's a, like, sure, 75 is okay of a price, but I would assume it to be a lot expensive because of its massive size. But sometimes I kind of don't get how a big machine like that is the same price as a figure with this thing. And this thing isn't like that big at all. It's like the size of a I don't know, like a soda can. So at least sideways. So that's why I'm trying to figure out, like, Ionic Blood says the missiles are shorter. He confirms it. I only need one of these. I got 3 from my stingers. The snake armor activates while you're sleeping. Order more Joe products with your credit card. Are the fins different though? Ionic Blood says Robert. Zedburn says compared to Ferret, it has more working and moving parts than the snake armor. Just a guess. Okay. I mean, it's a valid guess. I don't disagree with you. I'm just confused. But overall, yeah. But we'll come back to this this figure when we get actual product stuff in, and we can kind of dig deeper down into it and figure it out. Vil the Great says, just wait for that Christmas sale, 35% off. That's 100% true, because I remember the TELEVIPER with the HMS also went down by like 10 or 15 bucks last year or something like that. There was some type of Hasbro Pulse sale. The Fire Team version doesn't have extra blast effects, and the missiles were all one solid color. Ah, I see. The fins are the same design. It says Ionic Blood. All right, which now leads into but we'll come back to this Hawk at another point, because again, these are just renders, so we know how renders usually turn out different than the actual product. So as you guys know, I love doing visuals, so here's the updated list, I think, of all the renders that we have so far. So like I said, within the past 6 days, we had about 11 pre-orders, which is absolutely insane to any collector, just because that's a lot of money. They did, knock off a lot of renders and gave us different, pre-orders, but we also have new renders to add into the list. So we still have the Cobra Claw, which, as I mentioned like way earlier in the stream, that it was the first figure, or the only figure at the moment that hasn't been announced as pre-order just yet, because it was announced last year and still haven't gotten anything about it yet. So roughly, I assume Yojo June. Then we still have the Slice and Dice 2-pack, which is something I'm really excited about, because we can see that this version 4 Snake Eyes, the Slice and Dice look really good together. So if I put those two with the Arctic Storm Shadow and then some other stuff, then I believe the Ninjas and Kamakura will all be like probably my favorite classified figures to order. And then we still have CRANKCASE with the Striker, which is, I believe people said it was $100, so we're gonna have to see how that turns out. And then of course the Green Shirt Army Builder, and then we have the Hawk figure that we just talked about. So not much renders, but of course, Yojo June is really not that far away. We're still about 2 months off from Yojo June, so we're gonna get, of course, a buttload of more renders. But yeah, I'm very surprised that we haven't seen the Claw figure go up for pre-order yet. Hal Jordan coming back with the disappointed face, saying the snake armor is sold out. No, damn, that sucks. And the snake armor was only a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, right? So, damn, man, that blows. So, according to even Vil the Great, confirms that the snake battle armor has sold out, which is very, very sad, because the aftermarket price on that big beast is going to be absolutely it's going to be expensive as hell, man. It's probably going for like $100 and something on eBay. In the words of Chad, that's that bullshit. Zed Burn says it's still available to him, though. Maybe it's a different country? I don't know. Maybe Canada still has it. Chris Yule says, glad I got 3. If anybody wants one, hit up Chris Yule. Johnny Reno says $300. Damn, that's painful. The snake armor was up for a bit. I bought 3 initially, returned back an hour later, picked up 2 more. Damn. Sold out says now, don't pay aftermarket yet, says TF. Guess the website started working. Sunder says, I bought an extra armor so I can trade for a... hold on. Sunder Ganesan says he wants to trade a snake battle armor for a crystal ball. Does anybody wanna get him up on that offer? 5 out of 5, says Antonio. Whoa. eBay says 200. Damn, imagine missing out on a $75 figure to only have to pay $200 on eBay. That is wild. Hey yo, says Shark, I just noticed on the first 9 picks on Hasbro Pulse, Law & Order has the MP-K9 armband, but if you look on the packaging, it doesn't show it. It also shows it on the back of the package. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Thank you so much, Hey yo, for that enlightenment. I guess we can disregard that portion of me complaining. It will come back available, says Ed Burns. I will do the same snake armor for a crystal ball, says Elvin Martinez. Says he wants to do the same snake armor for a crystal ball. Sean R says I got you. Crystal ball will come back. Well, I 100% agree. Crystal ball will definitely come back. Walmart usually stocks, because remember, everyone was tripping over the Night Force Falcon and Coral 2-pack that they paid like what, 50 something bucks for, or 40, I don't remember. And now that 2-pack is going for like $27. So there's a really like good chance that Crystal Ball is going to come back on Walmart's website and go down to like 15 bucks or something. So so yeah, but these are the last remaining digital renders that we have so far until we get some kind of random update in the future, but we'll see what happens till then. And then, last but not least, let's take a look at all our Snake Eyes. So let's see here. According to the graphic that I always love doing, I like doing these graphics more than, I don't know, editing videos, but we have the Fortnite Snake Eyes. We have the, I guess you can call it the original Snake Eyes from Classified, and then we have the Snake Eyes 00, first ever Snake Eyes, and then we have the Snake Eyes movie figure, Henry Golding, and then we have the Snake Eyes with the polar bear, and then we have the Snake Eyes in Timber. I believe that's the Alpha Commando 2-pack, and then we got the other Snake Eyes in Timber, which I like to call, actually, what do I call that one? I don't remember, but he has like the beige pants, very similar to the 00 Snake Eyes, but it's something else. And then we got the freaking retro Snake Eyes, which is very similar to the Alpha Commando, just more retro-y. And then we have the Butter Pecan Snake Eyes, aka Desert Snake Eyes. And last but not least, we have the Snake Eyes version 4. So, wow, that is a lot of damn Snake Eyes within, what, 5 years of Classified? I don't know how to really rank any of these. I feel like they're all, I don't know, man. Like, you can literally just build on Snake Eyes the whole entire time if you prefer. Craig N with the shark emojis with a Metal Gear Solid alert says, thanks for getting us all together for a deep dive. You're the best. No, Craig, you're the best. I'm pointing at you. Thank you so much for supporting the channel and being here on the chat. That means a lot to me. So without you guys here in the chat, this channel would not be thriving, or I would not be enjoying talking at all. So the chat is really you guys making it fun. I am just the host. Antonio says he's got his own unit. Chris Yule says I hate Snake Eyes because of this. Everyone wanted Crystal Ball, but the Breaker makes no sense to me. Breaker, I think it's because of the mass device too. That's like $600 of Snake Eyes. Unfortunately, I mean, I don't remember. I think the 00 Snake Eyes is still super duper pricey, and then that's excluding. Like, I don't know about the Fortnite Snake Eyes. I don't hear anyone talking about that one. Alpha Commando, I know, is probably hefty because it's like a super heavy updated version of it. So I honestly, I don't know. Mr. Madgus says, call me weird, but I like the movie Snake Eyes. You know, yeah, it's really not bad at all. It's just, I was pissed off that he used it in the last 30 seconds of the movie. Spoiler alert. Imagine like waiting the entire, I know it's the Origins, but just imagine waiting the entire like hour and like 30 minutes of nonstop bullshit to only find out he gets the costume in like the last like 30 seconds. Mr. Samson says it's like the Deadpools in one gang. Snake Eyes versus Deadpool, that'd be a crazy one. I like the Fortnite Snake Eyes though. I mean, I guess it's cool. I don't have any issue with it. Raging Sherbert says 72 likes. Let's bump those numbers. Yeah, if you haven't liked this video, please go ahead and do so. that would be great. Evan says, wait, Shark, if you look at the pictures for Footloose, there is a Cobra vehicle that we have not seen before. Yeah, so the back of the artwork of all these GI Joes or Cobras, I haven't talked about it yet, just because it could easily be speculation or just Hasbro having fun with like artwork. So I'm really trying to, at least with this channel, I'm trying to be as grounded as I can without, you know, getting too overhyped on like, you know, small things, unless it's like a character that pops in the background, like how Crystal Ball was in the background of Nemesis, Enforcer, or Immortal. That would make sense. But for vehicle wise, I kind of want to like, because, you know, as soon as I talk about it, I'm pretty sure people are just gonna be like, oh, it's clickbait, or, you know, false, all that stuff. So I want to be as you know, grounded as I can without getting too excited about something, and then, you know, I don't want to give people's hopes up. As much as I do want to talk about it, you know, I'm treading like freaking on eggshells every time I'm doing a live or making videos. Sean R says, never realized it till now. Sean R says, a little ashamed to say I have all but the Fortnite version. All good, brother. As long as you're enjoying it, as long as you're enjoying collecting, if you love what you collect, then honestly, like, collecting at this point should make you happy. Don't worry about any collectors hating on something or not being part of their interests. It's really, at the end of the day, it's your money. You can literally buy whatever you want. If it makes you happy, then you can buy as many Snake Eyes as you want. There's no harm in that. No harm whatsoever. All right. So, with that being said, and having all those damn Snake Eyes, let's quickly head back to the name only leaks prototypes and next wave, because I think this will basically conclude tonight's stream. Thank you guys so much for spending, holy shit, 2.5 live stream. Wow, I'm really pushing my buttons here. Shout out to all the 60 people or less or more people in the chat today. Thank you guys so much for enjoying my streams. Thank you for talking in the chat. Thank you guys for keeping it engaged, and thank you for supporting the channel and making this channel thrive as much as I can. I know it's not as great as it used to be, but hey, we have all the great supporters here. That's all that matters to me. Everyone else is, you know, not needed. But with that being said, what was I saying? Yeah, I don't know when the next live stream is going to be, because unless something does pop up, then we'll definitely talk about it, because we just had the live stream this morning. But till then, I will definitely see what's the next topic. But other than that, thank you for spending your 2 hours with me on this Tuesday night. I absolutely appreciate everybody in the damn chat. If you typed it, thank you so much. If you're watching and didn't type anything, that's still okay. Thank you for even watching and listening to me ramble for 2 hours. I really do appreciate it. And again, shout out to everybody here in the chat. You guys are freaking awesome. I love all you guys as family. So thank you guys so much. And with that being said, have a great week and weekend. Enjoy collecting. Stay tuned for more SHARKNEWZ videos, and I will talk to you all in the next live stream, whenever the heck that will be. Hopefully I don't get sick, but I feel like I am. So with that said, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you haven't liked, please go ahead and do so. It will definitely help the channel grow. So till then, see you guys all in the next live stream. As always.